All right, and here we go. Okay, so we're going to talk about our arts design and graphics program. Next slide, please. Okay, and you've met me. I'm Michelle McBreen, and I'm going to let the instructors go ahead and introduce themselves. So we have 5 great instructors that are going to be presenting on art and media and design. So next slide, please. Yeah, and just as our other presentation, go ahead and throw your questions in the chat. And then you can also wait till the end and we will have some breakout rooms and time for questions as well. So next slide. Okay, and so today we're talking about art design and graphic, including apparel design and development, fine arts, jewelry design, graphic design, and visual media. Next slide. Yes, and under the same programming, we have our drama department, our music department, and our technical theater for social justice here at Seattle Central. Next. Okay, and Amani, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Imani Dunalade. I'm here at Apparel Design and Development. I'm the Outreach and Student Retention Specialist. I am not faculty, but I am the staff that can help get you through your college experience here at Seattle Central. Okay. I got some slides. Okay, yes. So with this program, you can get an AA, applied science to be exact. And then also it is a 6-quarter program. The thing about it is you cannot just join in the middle of the school year. You have to join every fall. So we kind of do it like kind of like a cohort basis. It is in-person style only. We do have a couple hybrid classes throughout the year, but mostly it's in person just because of how technical the program is. It's around 15 to 30 students in each class, but it kind of goes up and down depending on students who do decide to take part-time for any issues. Part-time is not really offered. It's only offered if you do have any like personal problems and you just cannot do it full time, because of how the program works with just making sure everybody can get through it through 2 years. Next slide. So a couple things about the program. You will learn about construction, pattern making, design, technology, and professional development. A really cool thing about the program is that in your second year, you'll have a final line, which is what the second year students right now are getting ready for, which the final line is where you'll create 3 looks and you'll have like this big fashion show where different industry execs and different industry people will come and be able to see your work. And who knows, from that you will be able to get a job from there as well. And also with this program, you are expected to have some sewing coming in, but there are some classes you can take at Seattle Central to get to that point. So next slide. So these are some of the different like companies that our students have gone to and worked for. Students also have been able to work as an entrepreneur themselves and start their own career. So it's not only just if you want to work for somebody. If you want to be your own fashion designer, this program could help prepare you for that as well. So some of the things is just to be a designer, business owner, technical designer, stylist, product developer, and there's much more. And then some other things that we have on here is Calvin Klein, REI, the Seattle Opera, J. Crew, Nike, and there's much more. Okay, next slide. Before I end, so be able to look for us on the Seattle Central website. We will have some info sessions coming up where I can explain more of the stuff in details, about how the classes work and everything else. And then I will, if you jump in the breakout room, I'll also talk about where else you can find information for us as well. Okay, thank you.
Amani, thanks so much. Okay, so next we have Jillian and Paula with fine arts.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. My name's Jillian Fisher, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm actually an academic advisor at North Seattle College. I'm here to talk about our fine arts and the arts design and graphics program, but I also actually advise students who are in social science, humanities, and languages as well. And I'll let Paula introduce herself before we go to the next slide.
Thanks, Jillian. My name is Paula Repsum. I use she, her pronouns. I am one of the full-time faculty members in the Fine Arts program at North Seattle College. My primary area of focus is in the sculpture and 3D arts.
So a little bit about the fine arts program. At North Seattle, we have the Associate of Fine Arts, or AFA degree, which we're going to focus more on right now. That AFA degree is really focused on studio art, and it does include a little bit of general education classes, but it's mostly studio art classes. And that degree is only offered at North Seattle. But I did want to mention that many students that want to study art will do the General Associate of Arts transfer degree, which can include quite a few studio art classes, but it will include more general education classes. And the General Associate of Arts degree is actually offered at all 3 campuses in the Seattle colleges, so North, South, and Central. So if someone's more interested in the General Associate of Arts, they can do that at any campus. But if you're interested in the Associate of Fine Arts, that is just at North Seattle. If students do that full time, it takes 6 quarters, and part time would generally take 9 quarters, just like other associate degrees. Most of the classes that would be included in the Associate of Fine Arts, or AFA, are in person. Most of our studio art classes are going to be in person on campus during daytime hours, but there are some that are online depending on the class. And students can begin this program any quarter. It doesn't matter which quarter you want to start. Our studio art classes are capped at 20 people, 20 students per class. So it's a nice small class size. And there aren't any prerequisites or special things a student would need to do to apply or get into the program. And I'll just add that we also have a certificate of fine arts, which is a 45 credit certificate that students earn automatically if they're doing the full Associate of Fine Arts, but we do have some students that come just for the certificate as well. And next slide.
Okay, I'm giggling a little bit because I have a puppy and she was so well behaved until the very moment that it was my turn. So yeah, Jillian gave you a little bit about the kind of background, and I'm going to share some of the highlights of the program. So one of the things that you will sort of discover when you first come to North is that we have an amazing group of faculty that are well-respected artists within the Seattle community and beyond. So we're all quite respected in our fields. We're practicing artists. We also have well-equipped and updated art studios. A lot of what you can access at North Seattle College is a really beautiful foundation in sort of traditional arts, but we think about them from both historical but contemporary angles as well. So you're going to get a well-rounded perspective when you study art at North. We have many of the foundation classes people associate with art classes, like a 2D and a 3D design, drawing, painting, and printmaking. We also have sculpting, and North Seattle College is one of the only campuses that offers a standalone sculpture class. We have ceramics and art history, and then we also have some unique programming in that we have a mural arts class, and there's still a couple spots open for a spring mural class that's happening, so consider maybe signing up for that. And we also offer a bookmaking program as well. The campus is quite active, and the art department is active within that, including an art group. Art group is what students want to make it, but one of the main things that they do is they organize a winter art and craft sale to give students an opportunity to see what it's like to sell their work, to price it, to market it, and to do all of those things, which are valuable skill sets. We do a campus-wide call for art, so we have a student show. And there's also a community open studio, which happens once a week in the sculpture studio, and anyone can come and hang out and make art within that time. So community is really important. Next slide. So in terms of the kind of career, artists are very adept at sort of finding their way into many places, which a lot of the other programs also sort of identified, which is that you're creative problem solvers, and you're sort of exploring many different opportunities. So one thing that we do offer at North Seattle College is a work study opportunity through the art gallery. And we have a really amazing art gallery. We also offer work study through ceramics and sculpture studios, and the jewelry program will also be starting a work study program. We have alumni who have gone on to do amazing things. They start their own businesses, they work in art administration or galleries. And we also have a lot of students that transfer to four-year institutions or other art programs. We also are really proud that we have some students who come to our campus with a prior degree. They earn their Associate of Arts degree, create a portfolio, and go directly into a master's program. So that's something that's also really interesting and really unique about North Seattle College's Associate of Fine Arts degree.
And Paul and I will also be talking about our certificate of jewelry design. So if you can go to the next slide. This is a very unique program. There are not very many jewelry programs out there across the state or even across the country. So we're very honored to have a strong jewelry program at North Seattle College. We offer a certificate of jewelry design. It's a 50 credit certificate, and it is just a part-time program just because of when of the jewelry classes are offered. However, that 50 credit certificate can stack exactly into our Associate of Fine Arts degree. So if a student wanted to do both, then they can do that full time and earn the certificate of jewelry design right within the Associate of Fine Arts degree. All of the jewelry classes are in person during the day. And again, some of the other art classes, as I mentioned before, most of them are in person, but there are a few that could be taken online. And again, this can be started in any quarter. Our jewelry classes are even a little bit smaller, which is lovely. So they are capped at 18 students. So nice small classes, and students can start without any experience in jewelry. You don't have to have done anything before. You are welcome to just start off at the beginning. Although we do have many students that come to us that already have experience in jewelry, maybe self-taught or taking other classes, and then want that more formal education. So we definitely have a mix of some people with experience as well as some people who are just getting going and starting off. And you can go to the next slide.
Okay, so as Jillian said, we are one of few and far between jewelry studios. And so it's a really fantastic program. One of the other things that I love that's not on this slide is that it's within the same space on campus, the same building with the arts program. And so the jewelry students and the art students really interact with one another and sort of cross-pollinate one another. So there are opportunities within the jewelry and metals program to do fabrication, to do stone setting, small scale metal casting, and mold making for that process, as well as creative skills for fine art expression and commercial application. So when you're learning these technical skills, there are students who really are interested more in the fine art, conceptual realm, and others that are totally interested in the commercial realm. I'm looking at the image on the side, and I can see that that is a stone that has been set. And also those are tiny little hands that were cast. They were carved out of wax, a mold was made, and then they were cast. So super fun. Within that program, you become really collaborative because you're working in the studio quite a bit. You are working sometimes with fire and hot materials, and that really creates a collaborative and a supportive environment. And within this, you can also learn how to properly set up a studio and then explore a variety of careers. Next slide. Upon completion of your certificate of what is it called? The Certificate of Jewelry Design. You have a capstone class where you will be creating a body of work that then will be presented in an exhibition. We also teach all of our students within both the Associate of Fine Arts and the Certificate of Jewelry Design how to photograph and document their work and how to create a portfolio of your work. And students in the jewelry program, they also transfer to art schools. They often start their own businesses, and sometimes they also go on to work as bench jewelers. Also, you might find that learning how to work with these materials, even if it's not something you end up doing on your own, might make you valuable in administration in a jeweler studio. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And next we will have Jill with graphic design.
Hi, my name is Jill Vartanesian, and I teach at Seattle Central College in the design program. Um, I've been there for 16 years, uh, and this is my first time presenting to this group, so I'm excited. Say hello to everyone. You can go to the next slide. We have an Associate of Applied Science degree. We currently have a collaboration with some colleges to do an upside down degree, which means we do our major 2 years full time, 9 to 2 every day, and you can then transfer into another school like Western and earn your BA degree. Our program is set up so it's a 2 year lockstep program, which means every quarter, we accept applications for the program, and once we are full, that cohort starts in the fall and then works together as the class for every quarter for 2 solid years. So we get to learn about every student's strengths and weaknesses and how we can push them along in the design program. Currently, our program is both hybrid and in person. We really get to know our students well. We have a great community of designers and a good network of alumni. Our size is capped at 25 students. Our classrooms are set up that everyone has access to their own computer in the classroom, but quite a few students also just work primarily on their own laptop. When students want to get into the program, there's an application process. You apply to the school. There's a second application where you need to submit a portfolio of work. Usually it's 8 to 12 pieces. Those pieces could be anything from samples of drawing. We've had people do painting, drawing. Some people have done jewelry design or metal work. We've had people who've been accountants who've done doodles and sketches submit their work. And there's also an essay component. There's two prerequisites that you could test out of. There's English and math. And we are located on the 5th floor of the Broadway Edison building on the Broadway campus at Seattle Central. You can go to the next slide. We offer a variety of courses. Because we are lockstep, you'll have 6 quarters, and every quarter you'll have 5 classes that meet from 9 to 2, and we cover everything from the foundation classes, so introduction to computer programs like the Adobe Creative Suite from Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator, to motion programs like After Effects, to web design and app design. So learning how users work with certain screen-based programs, and we develop apps and websites. We also do AR, VR experiences, and we are branching into a lot of artificial intelligence, which you might have heard some things about. The way we structure our classes is you learn the foundations, and then you learn a lot of practical applications for those foundations in a collaborative studio environment. Part of our classes are their classes are broken down into 3 core components. There's a lecture component, there's a lab component, and there's a feedback component. So during the lecture, you learn certain skills. You learn a little bit about the history and the social context of and technical skills. Then the lab component is where you apply those skills, and then the feedback component is where you get feedback on projects you're working on. We do a lot of technical learning as well in programs like Figma, which is for screen-based design. There's programs for motion-based design, which is After Effects, and there's programs for print and online or screen-based design using the Adobe Creative Suite. You can go to the next slide. Our program is set up so it's both theoretical and practical. So we talk about principles of Gestalt, design history. We talk about brainstorming ideas and how to get ideas from the initial stage all the way into a visual design that works for a client. Most of our classes build you up so that by the end of our 2-year program, you have a portfolio of projects that will help you get a job. We also like to incorporate internships for all of our students so that they get practical experience before they get jobs. The jobs that our students land in after they graduate is a huge variety. And what I love about our field is there's a lot of things you can do with our degree. You can become a packaging designer. You can work in user interface for any screen-based design from websites to apps. You can be a motion designer. You can work in branding for companies. You can work in print. So there's quite a few things. A lot of our students, when they graduate, work for local companies or national companies, and we have a growing network of alumni internationally working for companies like Starbucks, REI, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Costco, Alaska Airlines, you name it, we've had students there. One of my favorite stories is that former student reached out to me for some design advice, and she was working on a product launch for a company. And it was fun because when I found out what it was for Tazo tea, and then I could go into the store and actually see the product on the shelf. So it's always fun for me to see my students work out in the real world. Okay, next slide. I think that's it. Yes, Bliss.
Thank you so much, Jill. And Bliss wasn't able to join us tonight, and we're close to time, but I wondered if you would be comfortable just talking a little bit about the visual media program for just a minute.
Sure. I'm not Bliss Holloway, but you can go to the next slide. The visual media program is similar to the design program. It's full-time for 6 quarters. It's a lockstep program for 2 years, which means you show up every day, 5 days a week for a series of classes. You get the Associate of Applied Science degree when you're done. There is a portfolio entrance requirement similar to graphic design where you submit some samples of work. It starts every fall, and the studios are located also on the 5th floor of the Broadway Edison building at Seattle Central College. The next slide. I know that for Bliss's program, they focus primarily on photography, video, and motion design. They have some amazing work and an amazing studio and quite a bit of equipment available to students. And students have worked in many of the fields that I mentioned and many of the companies that I mentioned for the graphic design program. Next slide. Yes, okay, so this is some of the categories that they work in. A lot of the students develop their own freelance photography businesses. They work in cinematography, editing, and video production for local film, video, and other design studios. They work hand in hand with a lot of art directors working on a lot of projects for local and national companies.